to one and all. I, Dr. D. Prashanti, Associate Professor, take the privilege to introduce today's another speaker, Dr. Krishna Bhagavatula, Director of Business Development, the Jackson Laboratories, Australia. So, I invite Sir to give his speech with regard to the innovations in pharmaceutical research. How are we pleased? I will tell you, Sir.
So very good afternoon to all of you here. And how are you all doing? You know, students are supposed to be very active, so I would like to hear it a little louder. Very good, very nice. When I was a student, I was much more louder, but I think you're all tired, right? Good. Excellent, that's really, really good. Now that gives me a lot of energy also to continue my presentation today. So my talk is going to be very, very interactive. I want to hear more from you. I want to know how you are doing in terms of your career path, and also share some things in this presentation. So if there are a lot of people sitting in the back, there are a few seats here in the front. It gives me much more visibility to see you all, so I encourage you all to come and sit here in the front. So let's start our presentation, right? So tell me how many of you are in master's program here? Raise your hands. So that's few. Okay, very good. How many of you are in PhD program here? One? No? PharmD or PhD? Okay, quite a few. Very good. And how many of you are in bachelor's? Many. So why are you all doing your bachelor's? Let me hear from 3 people here. One from there. Tell me why you're doing your bachelor's. Whoever raised their hand. You can stand up. Yeah, please. You can tell me. What made you choose bachelor? You have a hand? Yeah, so what made you decide that you wanted to do bachelor's? You can earn. Okay, that's all? Okay. Simple and straightforward answer that you can earn. One more person from here. To build your future. Very nice. Okay. One more? Anyone? To make your parents feel proud. Wow, very good. Excellent. So I've got 3 different answers. One, to earn. Second, to build your future. Then to make your parents feel proud. If you want to know all of these 3 things, there is something that is common. Alright? First thing is, why you're doing it and what drives you to do it. And there are many ways to earn. Pharmacy is not the only thing. There are many ways to make your parents feel proud. This is one of those. And there are many ways to build your future. But this is one of those, right? So this is a very, very important milestone for you in your life onto how you want to take your journey forward. To all of this, I think you're having a very, very interesting topic today here, which is innovations in pharmaceutical industry. Now, what is innovation and why innovation is so important for you to fulfill your desires in your life, and whatever you're studying here in your college, when you wake up, when you come to your college, it has to be driven by innovation. It has to be driven by interest. It has to be driven by your ambition that you want to do in life, how you want to build your future, where you want to go, how do you want to make your parents feel proud, how do you want to earn. But before you do all of this, what is very, very important is the happiness and the interest, right? That is what actually leads you to a success, to achieving your objective in your life. So in the next 20-30 minutes of my talk, I'll share with you some interesting facts about what you are doing right now, and talk a little bit about innovation, share with you about my experiences, learn from you, give you some suggestions, and then maybe we can have few minutes of Q&A sessions and all of those. So what I'm going to talk to you today, like I told you about, is not just only about pharmaceutical research, but overall what is actually innovation means, and give you a bit of history behind, the timelines, how this innovations in pharmaceutical or life sciences research has moved into, and how can you build your future when you are working towards, pharmaceutical research, or for that matter, how Indian pharmaceutical research is evolving and how we are shaping up the future. And at the same time, for you especially, how does the future look like when you want to move in building your career path? What are the opportunities that you can look for? And how important it is to have innovation in your career. Innovation is just not a simple word. I know a lot of you people already know this, but how you can bring that innovation in your day-to-day is what is going to be very, very, very promising and very critically important for you. That is what is going to take you to your future path, wherever you want to go. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Now let's look about, slightly. I should have hidden this, but anyway, so we know innovation. Can we move the screen slightly? Screen. So innovation. According to, let me ask two students here what they know about or what they mean by innovation. Let me pick one from there. Okay. New ideas, right?
Innovation is the transformation of dream into reality.
Wonderful, that's a fantastic answer. Give a big round of applause for that. It's really, really nice. I like the way you put it. It is definitely, you'll see in my last slide also something similar to that. I think I was reading your mind or you were reading my mind, which is very good. And one from here, this side. Anyone here?
A new method, sir.
A
A
new-
new method?
A new method. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
No.
Yes. Only that one. Okay, that's a very clear no. Okay, good. Well, let me also give you my take on it. When I think about innovation, I think about a small microorganism which is not visible to our naked eye till the humans or even the huge animals that we see in the forest. Every living creature in this entire universe goes through a process of innovation. It is creating something new on daily basis. It is trying to think about making your dreams come true. It is aspiring for something that you always wanted to. There is one factor that drives behind all of this, and that is inquisitiveness. Right? You need to have the curiosity. You need to have that always questioning mindset of why it happens, how it happens, what is it behind it, where will all this lead to, how can I make a difference. All of these are the factors that drives innovation and how it really helps any living creature to survive and to evolve. And we all know, right, evolution. What is evolution? Can anyone answer? What is Darwin's evolution?
Survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest. And then,
Rapid change
is it a rapid change or is it a slow change? Slow change, right? Evolution is a continuous process that keeps happening through where only the survival of the fittest will have their place in this world. Similarly with innovation, if you want to survive in this world, you need to innovate constantly. Right? So now, how would that relate to pharma industry? When you look at the way pharma industry has been evolving over the period of time, and the way the innovative research framework really helps any students in this auditorium here who wants to build a future, is that you start as an individual at micro level, and then you build a team, you create together into a product development, whatever you want to work towards, and then you move on to creating bigger firms through your organizational learning or your strategic alliances groups. Now this is at a very micro level, right? At a very micro level, at your individual level, at students level who are in bachelor's, who are in masters, or who are pursuing and planning to go for their higher studies. You all want to create that level of understanding where you can create a framework, and then you move on to the middle level where you move on to working closely through your innovative ideas, bringing out those innovations, those dreams, trying to make them into reality, not only through your ideas, but through execution, using your resources, bringing together your capabilities, what you have, or creating or building new capabilities when you are working in an organization. And what actually is very, very important here is your strategic alliances. Now, what is strategic alliances? Can anyone tell me? When you hear the term strategic alliances, can anyone give me an answer? To build the relationships? Usually they are beneficial. So you have an approach, you create an approach, you work with more than one, you create a collaborative environment, you work together as a team, and that team is what will help you to build a collaborative network, which is very, very, very important for you in your journey. When I was doing my graduate program, my PhD, my PhD boss told me we want to execute this project, but the project was huge. And then I said, individually just doing it one person is not easy. So what he told me, we got to work with the cell biology lab, with the molecular biology lab, so and so researchers, so and so head of the department. So then I had to build a network of collaboration between teams, between researchers, share the idea of the project, what we were going to do, and achieve towards creating that project into reality. Similarly, when you're talking here in terms of your pharmaceutical research, you've got to create a collaborative network, especially in the path of trying to, that can help you go towards a higher level, at macro level, and where it can take you to academic fields if you want to go into, or move you into small, medium enterprises that you want to be a part of, or you want to create ones, where with your ideas, where you want to make your parents feel proud. You want to come up with your idea of starting a company of your own, or then move into working for a big pharma, where you are really helping to establish, to grow, to maybe contribute at a different level that you want to. Now, all of this, what really matters is your knowledge transfer and also your innovation system. But you're creating an environment here, and that environment is a chain, it's a network of different series of things that comes together, helping you to create a framework that can take you to your desired objective in your life. Moving to the future or taking you through a timeline, I know it's probably not very clear here, I'll walk you through a little bit. In the last 5 decades, the history of research, the history of innovation can show us some insights into what can be done, what can be achieved, how the innovation or the thorough research process can lead you to where we are right now. Before you take a pill into your system, there is a lot of research that goes behind. And I often tell this to my team at my companies, wherever I work with, that whatever we do is very, very important, because I work in food testing space, I work in pharmaceutical background, and also in preclinical space. So I tell my team members that whatever we do is so critically important, because whenever this is going to go into the pharmaceutical patients, wherever they take a pill in their, to cure or to heal or to treat their ailments, what goes behind is a lot of hard work of years of journey. If you look at way back in 50 years, I'm not going behind that. It's another series of discoveries that happened, be it DNA, be it RNA, DNA, protein, all of those. But much after that, there was protein crystallography that happened in the 70s that led to the 80s, where FDA had approved and created some new gene therapy treatments. And then there was a knockout mice, a transgenic mice, where the genes were altered in the mice, and mice became the new way of working together on understanding disease mechanisms. Similarly, when you move on to the next levels, there were a lot of other milestones which led to creation of a human genome project, entire human genome. How many of you are aware of it? Do you know? What is a human genome? Let me hear from one at least. What is human genome? It's not only DNA, but what? Entire?
Sequencing of the nucleotides.
Entire sequencing of the nucleotides. Very good. So that was a very huge task. How many of you know about next generation? Anybody heard about it? No. Anyone here? Next generation sequencing? So when the idea of gene sequencing the entire human genome came in the 90s, which is almost 30 years back, nobody expected that you could do a sequencing of entire genome of humans. So I don't want anyone to check their cell phones when I'm talking, so it's pay attention here to the presentation, so I want to hear from you more questions. So my question for this side here is, when you are looking into human genome sequencing, why is it so important? Can anyone answer? Yes? Anyone? Any student, master's, PhD, why is it so important? Just guess.
We can know about the origins of diseases.
Exactly, very good point. To what? To trace. Very good point. Yes. So if you identify your sequence, your human genome, it helps you to know, right, what are the diseases happening, what is going at genetic level, which is creating a new era of science, life sciences, where pharmaceutical applications are becoming critically important, which you'll hear in the next few slides. So the way that research has been evolving in the last few years has been enormous, incremental transformation, where it's just not only about once the human genome project was completed a few years back. There's a lot of next generation technologies that came into the picture, where people, researchers like you who want to, or graduate students, master students, are trying to extract blood from human patients and then start doing sequencing and trying to understand and then know the cause of disease, how the disease can be really treated, how it can help the people to improve their lifestyles. Now, similarly, what also happened eventually is that FDA, once it started trying to create the Human Genome Project, it initiated, then came pharmacopoeia. Do you know what pharmacopoeia is? You should have studied this. Official standards. Do you know which year it was started? 1955. And then how was it evolved further into in 90s? So a lot of pharmacopoeia standards came into picture, where the deciding factors of how the research can be published, can be used, started becoming more and more common. And then eventually, when you look at the 2002s, a lot of different diseases like cancer, cardiovascular disorders, metabolic disorders, gene chip came into picture. So the movement into human genome project started getting to the next level, then started the gene chip technologies, where entire hundreds of genes can really try to be sequenced. They could be identified as markers to treat patients. So these are the benefits of innovations. And now when you look at the early 2020s, 2020s, a lot of things have changed now. Now it is personalized genomics, it is personalized medicine, it is personalized treatments that are coming more and more into evolution. Similarly, the company that I work for, Jackson Labs, we do a lot of work in supporting researchers globally, the global biomedical scientific community, to work on different diseases that we're seeing here, be it cancer, be it obesity, be it metabolic disorders, computational biology, or be it any of the aging, dementia, rare diseases. So there is a huge involvement where mice is being often used into this innovation of developing, creating a broader impact on human disease. So this is a little bit about Jackson Labs. It was founded by C.C. Little almost 100 years back, where the vision, with an idea of Dr. Little, who actually wanted to understand if a mice could be used to understand more about how an empowering of a century of medical discovery can happen. So I'm not sure if any of you or many of you know this, but mice have actually almost 96% of similarities in the human genome. So it's only the 4% that makes us human and it makes us mice. So the rest of the 96% of the genes that we see in human are same as mice. So in order to understand about the diseases and understand about how it can really help mankind, you need a system to study. Getting the human system is not as easy as you can imagine. So that's where mice can really benefit, and it can open the doors for you to understand. So there have been almost 26 Nobel laureates that have used JAX mice for their research, be it in pharmaceutical research, biomedical research, protein structural research, molecular genetic level. One of the researchers, George Snell, worked at Jackson, who actually also got the Nobel Prize. So moving on to Indian pharmaceutical scenario, let's have a quick look into the 75 years of saga that went on to the building of Indian pharmaceutical industry, where it is right now, and where you are going to be making your future. So what is very, very important for us is to notice that when you look at the Indian pharmaceutical industry, the way it has evolved, so that is what is critical when you're dreaming your future. It was almost non-existent, when we got our freedom in 1947. but now it has become one of the big countries in the world, one of the world leaders in manufacturing high quality generic medicines. So it's also fascinating to see how the journey has happened and how in the world that we have really evolved into becoming the pharma market of the world. Similarly, at the time of independence in 1947, the Indian pharmaceutical sector was only valued at 10 crores. Even in today's value, when you look into that, it might be 90,000 crores or maybe a little less than that. But if you look at the way it evolved right now, is amazing. Where you can see that the industry has started expanding manufacturing facilities and turnovers into bulk drugs in the 70s, and that reached only up to 75 crores, and formulations of 370 crores. And the R&D expenditure at that time was just around 4.5 crores per year, which is almost like 1% of the total turnover. So then, despite these things that I started trying to see, only 20% of Indian population were having an access to medicines. If you look in 50 years back, that's how we were. And then it was very challenging environment back then having the access. However, by 1990, Indian system started changing. There has been a level of competition, there was a lot of involvement, a lot of companies started coming into the picture, they started trying to come up with new ideas, new firms all over the country. And pharmaceutical sector became one of the promising areas that will remain stable. And that's how there has been a self-sufficient program that really created in production of not only bulk drugs but various other things. So number of domestic pharmaceutical firms started coming in the picture, and then you'll be surprised to know how many of them have come in from 2002, 157 in the 1970s. All of a sudden the number has gone up to more than 20,000 companies in 2005. So now the total turnover has just from 2008, if you look at 2009, it is around $21 billion, right? That's thousands of crores. And this is of the entire, total turnover of the pharmaceutical industry. If you look at the domestic market, that itself is around $12 billion. So it's almost 65,000 crores. So that is, we're talking about 2008-9. Now when you look into how it is happening, what is very, very critical in terms of innovation, in terms of research, is how you're trying to create your patents. That is what also is going to be important for students who are working in this field. So by this time, global innovators, they started securing almost 302 drug patents from India. And this is not only something that is very, very interesting to know, but this is also growing from last 2008. So in 2020, the pharmaceutical market is valued, of 1,783 billion rupees, is expected to reach 3,000 billion rupees by 2026. And that's expanding, where you can see a lot of promising growth happening in the retail pharmacy sector, and also it is growing to expand to much higher levels. So where are we today? So today, if you notice, Indian pharmaceutical sector is the largest provider of generic drugs, right? I'm sure, how many of you know this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not after saying this, before this. Right? Before this. Before saying this, did you know this? Yes, right? So we are leaders in making the generic drugs. But that's not the only thing. There are a lot of things that are needed for us to evolve. So Indian drugs is ranked third in the terms of pharmaceutical production, and also by volume and by value. So how does the future look like, right? This is a very interesting information for all of you who are here aspiring to create their future. So according to Indian Economic Survey 2021, the domestic market is expected to grow 3 times in the next decade. So you are in one of the best fields of your career, where now that is going to just expand further to $42 billion in 2021, and it is likely to reach $65 billion by 2024, and it is going to expand into 120 to 130. So India's biotech industry comprises mainly of biotechnology, biopharmaceuticals, bioservices, bioagriculture, bioindustries, and bioinformatics. And not only that, when you look into Indian pharmaceutical biotech industry, it is valued around 64 billion in 2019, and that is expected to reach 150 billion by 2025. So India's medical devices market is also growing quite well. So what are the new areas, right? You already are in your bachelor's and your master's, and some of them are aspiring to do your PhD. What I think is important for you to look into is how the personalized medicine is shaping up. How are the mRNA-based therapeutics that are being used in the research, especially the pharmaceutical research? How is the real-world evidence and real-world data, which is another aspiring feature to evolve and to develop, is coming into picture? And not only that, but there's also artificial intelligence coming into more of the applications, AI-based tools, in silico testing, wearable tech integration. Wearable techs are devices that goes into your system that can integrate into your body or that can give a picture of your health system, how it is coming up to. And with all of this comes the data management, data analytics, and then also bioprinting. So these are some advanced areas that can really help into. So with opportunities comes challenges. With challenges comes bigger responsibilities. So what is also critically important is when you have so much of data, how do you try to analyze the data? How do you manage the data? So data security, that's another area that is really coming up. Supply chain integrity. How can you integrate? So as students, what is also important for you is to think outside the box of how you can really bring your knowledge, what you have in science, and then how you can take it into the applications of supply chain management, supply chain integration, IT integration, evolving tech, so many. So, like I told you, the global pharmaceutical industry is going through a phase of innovation, and this is actually creating more and more opportunities for novel therapies as a result of prevalence of chronic infectious diseases, and also for areas such as cancer, such as cardiovascular disorders, diabetes, metabolic disorders. There is a lot of shift happening from small molecules into large molecules. So you look into also how the investments in the complex therapeutics, medicines, immunotherapy is changing, and also there's a lot of pressure in the companies to reduce the pricing and improve the quality. At the same time, also there are opportunities coming in the biopharmaceutical industry, how they can really bring together in the big chain technologies, global supply chains, how they can try to meet the global growing demand. At the same time, you also can see the role of technology, how it is changing. So what is also critically important for you here is to understand how the technology, how when you're applying the tools to get into what you want to, how does that play into the picture? So you see here about adopting manufacturing technologies, prediction monitoring, modular manufacturing, and applying AI tools, into the era of drug manufacturing is what has been really happening through augmented realities, through manufacturing analytics. So companies are changing the way they're functioning. If you happen to go to visit any pharma manufacturing company, I encourage you to spend some time, go into their facilities, get some permission from their heads saying that you're going on a field trip. You should go and try to also look into how its manufacturing is done. And then the next transformation of how the disruptive life science technologies, they are delivering more innovative value. You will see a lot of tools that are coming into using data management, blockchain, cloud ERP. I don't know if how many of you are familiar with this term. If I had more time, I would really spend with you to understand more about it. But ERP tools are becoming big and common in the manufacturing segment. At the same time, machine learning. How do you use machine learning tools and apply it here? Cognitives. We have some of the organizations that are using cognitive tools to create and to improve human health. Similarly, also with digital analytics and deliveries. So these are a few things which I wanted to share with you. The last one or two slides I'm going to talk to you is about future career opportunities. So with the future career opportunities, what I think I wanted to share with you is also to understand about, share with you some insights about how the academic and research. So I wish I could spend a little bit more time in asking some students a few questions, what they want to do. So maybe I'll ask two questions, one from this side and one from this side. What do you think you want to do once you finish your bachelor's? Let me see from somewhere in the middle. Anyone? MS in abroad. Very good. Sorry? Sorry? Live a lavish life. Wow, very nice. That's a good answer. Give them a big hand. We all want to live a lavish life. Who doesn't want to, right? Excellent, good. And run from this side.
Go to abroad and take a green card and settle there.
It is, okay, that's one more question from anyone? One more answer from anyone? You want to start a medical shop? That's a great thing. Why are you laughing? You should be proud of that. That's fantastic. Do you know how Farm Easy has come into picture? Fantastic. So 50% of them want to go abroad. How many of you want to go abroad? Oh, 90% of you. Okay, nobody wants to be here. Right? No. Well, well, let me tell you, abroad is wonderful, great. But you also have a lot of opportunities in India. So I lived in the US, I lived in Australia, I did my PhD in the US, I did my master's in Australia, and MBA. And now we are here. Krishna also lived abroad. You know, so we
I
are
don't like. I'm back.
exactly
I
right.
love Hyderabad.
Yeah, see that. I know, but- Yeah, see
I
that.
must say that I'm a graduate from Kingston University, London. मैं कहीं बताता हूँ.
Yeah.
I say Pula Reddy and I'm very happy working with Hyderabad in India.
Right. So, excellent. See, I want to say that, you know, Mera Bharat Mahan, right? So I was also in NCC, I went to RD Parade in 98, long back, and we had this passion and this interest of doing something for the country. And India is a wonderful place to be here right now. It's a time where you can really make your opportunities come true. So lavish life is better here in India. I don't know if you know this. So, anyway, so moving on to what you can really do, whether you are in India or abroad, is how you build your academic and research programs. So you have different opportunities that you can think about going into PhD programs, or doing translational research, or even working in the space of drug discovery and preclinicals, and also related with pharmacy that you're planning to work on. So industry opportunities. Now you look at your industry, right? Industry has much more different level of opportunities. So there is a lot of scope for people who are working with pharmaceutical background, where they can do work in the space of research and development. R&D is very, very critical. Similarly also with drug development and also with quality. So when you look at quality, I work with a lot of pharmaceutical organizations, scientists who are working in these three spaces, and day in and day out they do a lot of quality control, quality assurance, QA, QC work, which is very, very important. Similarly, process development, in regulatory affairs, intellectual properties, digital transformation in the pharmaceutical sector, which is really, really picking up. And then also you have the real world evidence and real world data and personalized medicine. These are some of the things that can help you. But what is critically important for you is when you start trying to understand about your area of your subjects, what you're studying, similarly trying to keep yourself updated with starting out right. So when you plan for that, you know, trying to engage with all researchers. So what I feel is the way to get started is to start planning and doing it today and not wait until tomorrow, which is very, very important for students. And what you can also say, thank you. Yeah. We can only see a short distance ahead, but we can see plenty that needs to be done there. Well, this is something that said by Alan Turing. So the path for you to build your future, as I was talking, is about how you do it, is to understand your interests, what you want to do, and you start working on that direction. And you start to create a lot of programs and pathways. Start doing some kind of internships, reach out to companies, work on projects, do collaborations, and do summer trainings that can help you. Similarly, if you want to move into pharma space, how you engage with researchers who are working in creating opportunities for you in the space of quality, in the space of process discovery, development, drug discovery, drug development, and all of this can happen through your network that you are really building on. You know, today's researchers, I think, especially today's students, all of you are in a much, much, much better place than most of us. You have your Facebook, your online tools, you can use your WhatsApp, so you have so many tools, access to Instagram. We didn't have all those. We never had those. So when you use these tools for your benefit, going onto LinkedIn, creating some scientific network programs, attending these kind of events, other places, all of this can really help you. So also working with sphere of space and understanding and using some of the global opportunities in creating your value by working with. So I think a lot of people want to go abroad, but if you all want to go abroad, you all want to build your career, let me tell you one thing with our experience. You really have to be on the cutting edge technologies. You start trying to really do your best in your academics, and not only doing best in your academics, but try to start thinking about publishing some work by tying up with academic and research institutions, identifying some projects, and get your name in the articles. And that can really be beneficial for you. So with that, I think I just want to summarize that Indian pharmaceutical industry is evolving and growing at a very high pace. So you are all in a very good space of areas that you can really build your career. It's very promising. But however, I also want to tell you that this is one of the areas which will show you a promising results not instantly. You're sowing your seeds right now. It will take time for you to build your future. So you got to have that level of patience and perseverance. Not giving up, not changing your fields right and left, but in building your future by keeping yourself abreast with the latest trends and technologies, and then also creating a network, planning and executing for collaboration, which plays a very major role. So like Mahatma Gandhi once said, be the change you want to see in the world. So you have to. Somebody was talking about innovation at the beginning of the talk, that is making your dreams come true. So I had that in my last life. That's what I was telling her. So you can always make your dreams come true when you really put together your heart, your soul and your efforts, and that will take you to your success no matter what hurdles comes into, and no matter how adversities can come up to, they will only create more opportunities. So with that, I want to thank you all. It's been great talking. I want to thank the committee here for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. For information on innovations in genome research, Indian pharmaceutical research scenario, how does the future look like, the need for innovation in pharmaceutical manufacturing and future career opportunities. Thank you, sir. Now I hand over the session to Dr. A. Lalita.